If you're like me and you ever walked into the craft store looking for a glue, no doubt you walked out with a headache. Okay, I have a little lesson for you here. We're doing Glues and Adhesives 101. And I'll tell you what, there are some awesome glues out there that do specific things that you need to know about. First of all of these are water-based glues. And they work basically for all types of basic craft projects. Tacky glue works great for overall projects. There is a fabric glue out there. And I'm telling you, once you use this baby, that fabric is not coming apart, and it's even washable, but you'll want to read the label on that to make sure. This is great for foam. You cannot use certain glues on styrofoam because it will eat it up. Make sure you use a glue that is specifically made for foam. Now this one is made for paper and fabric, a nice combination for both mediums, and then this one is just a paper glue that dries nice and clear. Again, it's water-based. And then of course you have the good old-fashioned wood glue for any wood crafting projects that you're doing out there. Now you want something a little more permanent, something that's going to really hold it in there. There are a couple of different ways to go. First of all, E6000, one of my favorite. And I'll tell you, the only thing is with all of these glues, it takes a little bit longer to dry because it is permanent. Now E6000 is one, and then you have the Craft Bond from Elmer's. Now this one is, both of these actually have a little slight odor to them and takes a little bit longer to dry than normal, so just be aware of that. And then you have the jewelry and metal glue, which has a nice skinny fine tip for you to repair or create any jewelry projects. And then there is a spray adhesive. If you're doing large projects like on the wall or on poster board, this is really great, but you'll want to use it outdoors because there is overspray. Okay, let's talk about paper crafting. The popular glue or adhesive to use, well, of course, they're glue sticks. Everybody's been using glue sticks and everybody has their favorite. You can use them. They're great for kids. But when it comes to paper crafting, I personally like glue runners. And there are a ton of glue runners out on the market, and there are a couple of things you need to be aware of. These are glue runners. And if you're going to buy one, you want to decide on whether or not you want to buy one that you can refill or that you can just use and throw away. This one says refillable, and then here is the refillable cartridge. So you want to be aware if you're buying one that you don't want to refill, don't get this kind. Okay. The other thing that you want to watch for is whether or not it's a repositionable bond or a permanent bond. Now, even if it is repositionable, you can move it around lots of different times, but I'll tell you what, I found that after a couple of days, it cures, it's stuck. So that's okay, but it allows you to move stuff around on your project a couple of times. And the permanent one, well, it's permanent. And then of course you have different types of holders. This one is with Glue Arts, and then you have the mother of all holders, this one right here. Check this baby out. If you're doing large craft projects, you will love this. Okay, nice handle. Okay, but let's talk a little bit more about the adhesive rollers, because there are different types of adhesive rollers too for different projects. This one right here, this is the permanent one. This is Scrapbook Adhesives. And do you see all these little lines right here? It's because it has little tiny strips of adhesives, and here's what's so cool about it, is that it allows you to move around corners. How cool is that? I love this. Okay, so you can just do squiggly lines or whatever you want to do, but I'll tell you what, going around corners and securing the edges, I really like that. Now the other type of adhesive roller that's kind of important to know about is the vellum roller. Now why is this important? Well, because if you are gluing vellum paper, which this is vellum paper, it's transparent and you can see through it, you need to use a vellum roller. And I'll show you why. Actually, let me just tear this apart here. Because if you don't and you put it on a regular adhesive, look at that, it's going to show right through. But if you use a vellum roller, whoops, takes a second or two, not a second or two, but a little while to dry, you won't see that when it's dry. It's clear, and you can still see through the vellum. Okay, very important. Last but not least, some of these, I love them. You can look for them out there. They're glue lines and glue dots, and they are literally pieces of glue that are on strips of paper that come in lines. These are great for if you're doing like ribbons and you want to glue the whole ribbon down, and I mean, you don't have to wait for your water-based glue to dry or for the glue to leak through on your ribbon. These are great for that. See how adhesive they are? And then these, I love these. These are glue dots, and these are three-dimensional. So you can take these off and put them on your project, whether it's your scrapbook page or your card, and it gives it that dimensional look. You can also pile them on top of each other to create, you know, something really high and something kind of low underneath it. So depending on, you know, what you want to use it for. But these, I'll tell you what, I've used these, believe it or not, on a picture I have hanging on the wall next to my door, and every time the door closes, the picture swings. I used a glue dot to secure it. No big deal. Done. Okay, so there is still so much more to know. Acrylics and porous and non-porous and blah, blah, blah. So all you have to do is just download the shopping list next door here, and you'll be able to educate yourself on glues and adhesives.